Sin is our big topic. Welcome back. As we've said in earlier segments, we're cutting the sin pie up into 7 slices, or what I call 7 steps, from innocence to radical evil, anxiety and unfaith, pride, concupiscence, self-justification, cruelty, and blasphemy. And for the next few minutes, it's going to be concupiscence. Now you might be saying, oh, I never heard that word. Well, in English, in American English, it's concupiscence. And if I were in Great Britain, I'd pronounce it concupiscence. I kind of like the American way better. It's a translation of the New Testament word epithumia, which means desire that gets out of control. St. Augustine compared concupiscence to lust. If you've ever fallen in love and you just can't live without the presence of the other, you know that sense of being out of control. The goddess of love, Venus, has just taken over your soul. Well, there's nothing wrong with lovers desiring each other. That's for sure. It's a beautiful thing. But this becomes a model for understanding what could happen if our entire life is given over to desire, to coveting, to wanting, to shopping. It's that desire to possess. Paul Tillich, whom I've mentioned, is a theologian that I benefit from, and he gives us a definition of concupiscence. Concupiscence is the unlimited desire to draw the whole of reality into oneself. Well, the good news is that you and I are born with an innate desire to be real, to get real. We are naturally attracted to what is good. The trick is that what is good in itself. And when we yield to concupiscence, then we want to possess that good and make it good only for me. Just imagine thinking of the universe as having a center and a circumference, and you place yourself in the center. And now you want, like a vacuum cleaner, to suck everything in the circumference right into your own orbit and your own control. That's concupiscence. Some years ago, when my daughter was 17, she asked me one day what I was working on. I said, well, I'm working on concupiscence. And she said, well, Daddy, what is concupiscence? I said, what do you do each day after high school? Well, my girlfriends and I go to the mall. Well, what do you do at the mall? Well, we walk around and look in the windows and in the stores, and we talk about the things that we really want to have. And I said, well, Kathy Kim, that desire to have all those things, that's concupiscence. And she says, well, Daddy, I'm just like the bumper sticker says, born to shop. And of course, those of us in our modern post-industrial society are victimized day after day by a phantasmagoria of advertisements, all trying to seduce us into wanting and coveting and desiring, and then, of course, buying and possessing and owning. And if we yield to the temptation to shop, we risk falling into the grip of concupiscence. Well, having a few extra pair of shoes in the closet is probably not going to hurt very many people. But when groups get concupiscent, then real damage can be done. As I make this video for you, there's a war going on in Syria. Lots of combatants. We're told that the war is a religious war. Crazy, fanatical, dogmatic, religious people are creating all of this violence. The savage ISIS Shiite Muslims are trying to kill off the Syriac Christians and the Sunni Muslims and are in battle with the Kurds. That's what we're told. Yeah, that's going on, but that's not the root of it. No, behind it and underneath it is concupiscence at work. The nation of Qatar, oil rich, wants to build a pipeline from Qatar that runs through Syria and Turkey and across the Bosphorus into Europe to get that European market. And the United States is supporting that particular pipeline because that's where American investors get their profits. Well, curiously, Iran would like to do the same thing and run its pipeline through Syria to the Mediterranean and also to take control of the European market. And Russia is supporting Iran, and Bashar Assad supports Russia and Iran and not the Americans. So why is it that American and Russian airplanes are running around trying to take control of Syria? It's concupiscence. Concupiscence, the mad dash for oil, profits, and political control that leads to war and death. Yep, concupiscence. Putting myself in the center of the universe and drawing everything towards me. Or as we said about pride in the previous segment, it's elevating myself into the sphere of the divine. All as part of a delusion that makes me forget the threat of losing my time and space and dropping from being into non-being, anxiety, getting its grip on my psyche and on the course of world events. Well, that's the end of our segment on concupiscence. The next one will be on self-justification and scapegoating. Come back.